What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to the morning bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. I'm joined alongside by Jose Bouquet to cap this beautiful Wednesday card. Jose, how are you, my friend?
Good. Successful day yesterday for us, huh?
Yeah, it's we're just riding momentum. Look, I'm so serious about how we need to cash this week and next week while getting is good because things are going to become more difficult here the week before the All-Star break, the week after the All-Star break. Then maybe we can, capture that momentum again. But then college football will be here, NFL, NHL, NBA. So I'm just adamant that we got to just destroy this week and next week. What was your record? How did you do?
Uh,
We just lost your audio, my man.
there we go. All right. Well, I only lost one bet yesterday, and it was the Cardinals full game.
Yeah.
So that was nice. The Portugal match was very easy for the soccer, and we had some baseball come through for us. So it was a good day. I can't complain.
That's excellent. Glad to hear that. I made a couple mistakes. I went 15-8 plus 6.26 units. Going through it, seeing I had some great calls on pitchers. It was who they were going up against, whom I thought was the solid entity that screwed up some totals for me. Ryan Johnson. That breakdown of Ryan Johnson was, maybe my best breakdown of the year. And then Luindra Avila. I mean, these guys were just shoving for me. Mariners first 5 lost. Royals first 3 plus a half cashed. Philly, Washington first 5 over 4.5 cashed. Cleveland, Chicago White Sox first 3 under 2 cashed. Cleveland, Chicago White Sox under 7.5 cashed. Cardinals first 5 pushed. Cardinals full game lost. That sucks because I nailed Leahy. Absolutely nailed Leahy. But, Baltimore, LA first 3 under 2.5 cashed. Baltimore, LA full game under 9 cashed. Then we cashed the LA first 5 plus a half cash. So we 3 units there, which was beautiful. Houston first 5 cashed. Houston full game cashed. A lot, like all these games so far were, my intuition, but I really think TJ helped in the fate of the Toronto Blue Jays, trusting the market. The market just kept moving towards the Astros. And so that I really want to give some credit to TJ. He was adamant that Houston was the spot. Cashed the first 5 plus 104, full game plus 113. Lost KC, Tampa Bay first 3 under and full game under. And look, talking about being right, like the breakdowns were solid yesterday. The Cal Quantrill, he only goes 2 innings. I just wish he had. I thought he was going to go further than that. So we still cashed our first 3 under 2.5, but lost the full game under 8.5. Washington first 5 plus a half cash, and then the Rockies. I didn't need to double up there, but I'm just doubling up on so much right now just because we're running so hot. Colorado first 3 plus a half lost. Colorado first 5 plus a half lost. Angels first 5, as I said already. San Francisco first 5 minus a half cash. San Francisco full game minus 1 cashed. And then the Mariners full game cashed. I almost didn't bet that. And then I was waiting for the line to get easier for us at Athletics San Francisco totals. I mean, the 4 runs were scored, and I lost the first 3 under 2.5. But I did catch the full game under 9. So it was excellent. Very, very pleased with everything that happened there. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Thank you guys for rolling with us. And I mean this so sincerely, that the way I see this is we have 8 more days for me, because I'm not going to cap on Saturday and Sunday this week or next week. I might still bet Guardian unders. But the way I see it, I have 8 more days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week, and Monday through Friday of next week, to make as much money as I possibly can in MLB. And I'm going to attack with enormous vigor. Shout out to all the cappers rocking with us. Billy Friedrich, Pig Milk play of the day is in. What an interesting spot. Cardinals first 5 plus 2.5 and first 5 over 4.5 at plus 123. Calls it an exotic glass of pig milk. Justin McKelvey, Langford over 1.5 bases plus 140, and Golden State Valkyries plus 2.5. I can get there. I can get there, I think. I want to see what this market does for longer, but I think I can get there. I've made 3 bets in WNBA, 2 in 1 game, but I do believe that I can join you. And this will just push it even further, knowing that stacks number 2. John Bender, play of the day is the Twins plus 157. That's another spot that I would have already been on. I've made 10 bets on the MLB card, but isn't the line going to move towards Ohtani? Shouldn't I just be patient for a better line? I mean, that's what we talked about last night. So I hope that is the case. Rob McMahon in the house. We got Spooner's action. I'm loving Spooner's card. Athletics moneyline, Royals moneyline, Nationals first 5 moneyline. I love the Nats first 5, man. And Orioles moneyline. I love the Orioles here. I thought, so when I went to bet the Orioles, there's 3 lines that make no sense to me whatsoever. And the Orioles one makes some sense, but the other 2 really don't. That Soriano's just overvalued and that he's not who he was in those first 6 games. But when I went to bet it last night, the line, there was 10 cents of buyback. I think there's been 2 cents more to Orioles direction. So I'm Orioles first 5 full game. I would have bet that last night. I ended up betting it this morning. And I love it. I love it. I like this card. The 2 spots that are just perplexing we'll discuss here. And we only have the services of Jose Bouquet for another hour and 9 minutes. So we're going to go through the baseball card as far as we can. And then at the top of the hour, we're going to take a break. And we're going to rapid fire through the 6 World Cup games with Jose. He will bid us adieu. And then we will then attack the rest of the MLB card and the WNBA card, just myself with you guys. So that's the plan of attack. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Morning Bag here at Pub Sports Radio. And the plus 6.26 units that I picked up has me now down 1.10 units on the year. 403 and 361 at 52.7%. So we've come a long way from being down 49.88 units, which was the worst. I mean, just, I almost lost everything. So we've come a long way. But I didn't start the season with the goal of breaking even in MLB. So let's get into the black. I've not been in the black for a second all of 2016 in Major League Baseball. Let's get into the black and then let's start climbing. Jose, it's great to cap the card with you, my friend. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's attack, Jose. Let's roll. A shout out to Low Key in the house. Wager Detective Von Polo says Baltimore smell good play of the day. I love it. I'm going to keep copying Royals first 5 money line. I'm going to copy and paste all of these actions here. All of this here, but we have Pub Sports MMA in the house. Mark Stasowski, Von Polo, sick from the fall, Low Key, Nicholas Handy, Colin Gregory in the house, Jay Robinson ready to get to work, Mark A, Walla Walla Dose, the Wager Detective Brian Smith. I love it. So I'm going to keep copying and pasting all of the action, Jose, but let's set up this first game because I have attacked it. Now, unfortunately, I've doubled down on this spot, and Jerry Davis is on the opposite side. He told us that last night. It was the first bet he made. So let's proceed with some caution, but let's fucking attack. Jose, let's set it up. Let's roll.
Excuse me. We have Jacob deGrom and the Rangers against the Miami Marlins here to start off our card here. We have right now, as I refresh all my sites here, just to make sure we have all the accurate information, 68% of the bets on the Texas Rangers and 89% of the money on the Marlins there. So it's a pretty big split there. For market moves, minus 120 opener at Bet Online is now minus 118. It did get up to minus 134 at one point at 1 in the morning here and came right back down to the Texas Rangers, or to the Miami Marlins, I should say. My Heritage has minus 123. They opened up at minus 126. Bet Online definitely moved it towards the Miami Marlins here. Jimmy, what'd you think?
Well, I'm excited to attack this. Wager Texas says fire Schneider. And, like Schneider has been with our franchise, since the minors. He's watched Vladdy Guerrero since he was, 16 years old. Maybe Vladdy Guerrero should hit a home run at home. He's a .331 slugging percentage at home. Now, it's all well and good to love these, to want coaches fired, and that's all well within your right. But I'm pretty excited about the Jays being back at 500. I guess they're now back a game under, but they're handling their injuries and they're playing good ball. And Jose laughed at me when I said Ernie Clement could make the All-Star team last year. Number 1 vote getter in Major League, in the American League, Jose.
Well, we know why that is.
Because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Let's roll here. We got BJ's best bet as well. Okay, Texas Rangers, Miami Marlins, Lone Depot Park, Miami, Florida. One of the things we've talked about with Robleski and Ryan Johnson was being able to take, a terrible inning where they get absolutely annihilated and stay strong and not destroy the bullpen. And that I have enormous respect for, especially from young pitchers like Robleski and Ryan Johnson. And they both carried that over into huge success. And look, it's different with Jacob deGrom, of course, because he is a vet. But it was his bobblehead night, and he went out there and allowed 5 earned runs in the first inning. And he gathered his composure, and he went 6 strong, didn't ruin the bullpen. He had been coming off of 4 really strong starts. He had the hiccup in late May, but coming off 4 really strong starts. So I like what we saw from him there, and I don't mind the start, honestly. I know it sounds crazy to not mind the 6 earned runs over 6 innings. And then we have Yuri Perez. Again, we talk about the difference coming off the IL with a non-arm related injury. Yuri Perez here is throwing 99.4 miles per hour. He sat in the 96, 98 range the whole entire time. He got up to 99.4 at AAA Jacksonville. And, he needed a reset. He was pitching really well those last 2 starts before he got hurt. By the way, Jose, it is a right gracilis muscle that he strained in his thigh. He was thought to be out for 8 weeks. Do you know what the right gracilis muscle is, Jose Bouquet?
No.
It is often referred to by the nickname the anti-rape muscle, Jose.
Wow.
It forcefully adducts the thighs, which means it's associated with closing the legs, Jose.
Okay. That's good to know.
What
was that muscle again?
The gracilis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I've never heard anyone say it before. So I have no idea. I'm just guessing it's gracilis. But I think on your next date with Helga, it'd be a nice thing to bring up.
Open your gracilis.
Yeah, there you go. See that? Well, that would be afterwards. First, you got to set up the gracilis before you ask for it to be open. Ty Clinton in the house. Great to see you. Joel Torres says, "Let's go Rangers." So we have a Rangers bullpen that's been great all year. That's struggling right now, but I still believe this. Oh, nice. Oh, he's in jail at the moment. I didn't read the last part. I'm sorry. I thought it was going well, and then ... Marlins bullpen has been strong all year long, and these teams have no power. They have no power against righties. 256.94 for the Rangers, 246.722 for the Marlins, and we have stacks play today. If you're looking for power, you could say Langford has power. And our man, Justin McKelvey, stacks play today, number 1, is Langford over 1.5 bases. I, though, am on the first 3 under and the full game under. And I'm pretty excited about the situation. I could understand why this is a questionable situation for many because of Perez coming off the IL and because of deGrom's not being quite as dominant as he has been in old times. But look, this has moved 25 cents the under 2.5 since I bet it last night, which is a good sign. I'm in business. But shout out to Justin McKelvey. Langford over 1.5 bases. Stacks play today. Stacks. So I got that under first 3 under 2 at plus 104. Right now that'd be like a minus 118 or something. So very, very pleased. I got the full game under 7.5 minus 115. Look, I'm in business. This is a 12:10 p.m. start. Starts in just a little under 2 hours, and nobody's going to be there. Nobody's going to be there. I think it's going to be Sleepy Hollow, man. I think the unders are going to cash, and that's what I'm on. Jose, any movement for you?
No, none for me. I'll stay off.
All right, let's roll on to the doubleheader. And Joel Torres on the Nerfy, Troy Torrance with me on the under, Mark Stasowski with me on the under as well. And let's go into Cubbies Mets doubleheader. And I don't think, yes, I'm on the first 3 under and the full game under, Nate. Troy and Mark Stasowski also on the full game under. So I also moved on the first 3 under 2. Now, at the first 3 under 2 at a minus 120 is not worth it. I got, plus 104. But I know you like those first 3 unders too, Nate. And I'm on, But again, I think deGrom is going to be more consistent than Perez here. We're going to kind of have to watch Perez pretty closely. Jose, this is a strange doubleheader here. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for books to open up this line. I don't think we need to spend too much time on it because this is something we're gonna have to cap throughout the day. But do you want to set us up for game one for Cubs Mets?
Sure. It's Nolan McLean allegedly versus Cubs pitcher to be determined. We saw Edward Cabrera go out with a hamstring injury allegedly last night, so he'll probably be moved to the IL, and they'll make a corresponding move for someone to come up, would be my assumption. And that move has not been decided yet, I guess. So right now, according to where we look at money, it's 71% of the bets on the Cubs and 94% of the money on the Mets here. But no real lines, it seems, right now out for this game.
Yeah. Look, I'd like to back Nolan McLean. I hope that we get the opportunity to do that. I mean, at this point, all we know is that the Mets pitchers are set with Nolan McLean and Sean Manaea. Two pitchers that we've studied pretty hard. I think the one thing that we can just for due diligence, because I am interested in moving on this game here. And Spooner says Soto dealing with back tightness. He will miss at least one of these games. So there's a lot. We're not going to have much time to judge the market here as well because the books haven't come out at all. The one thing about Nolan McLean that we can talk about is he's not been pitching as well as he did at the start of the year. I mean, it's fair to have some concern about what's going on. And let me just pull up. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna have to pull up yesterday's worksheet. But look, we've studied him pretty heavily. Here we go. So I mean, me pulling up his exact stats from yesterday isn't a big deal. I think we know what we're getting. It's just he's just not a dominant force. And there was times where I was certain that he was going to be a dominant force this year. Is he going to go up against Shota Imanaga? I mean, if he was, we'd probably already know this. And Billy Friedrich says he doubts that Soto starts in either game, perhaps a pinch hit appearance. So again, you guys are going to have to cap this kind of on the fly, unfortunately. And here, as I pull up Nolan McLean, 3.67 ERA, 1.09 WHIP is really strong. 3.27 expected ERA. It's just that he had those hiccups in May 19th and May 25th. 2 starts, one at the Nationals, one at home versus the Reds. And those 2 starts combined, he allowed 13 earned runs in just 9 innings. It was out of the ordinary. In the last 4 starts, he's only allowed 4 earned runs. But May 31st, the bounce back start was just 5 innings at the Marlins. They were in control, so they pulled him early. Then he went 6 at the Padres. The Marine layer was helping him. Then he only goes 4, and he walks 4 batters. That was another thing. Even in these 4 starts, now last start was a thing of beauty at the Reds, so maybe he's corrected himself. But in the 3 starts that were good leading up to this, he walked 12 batters in those 3 starts. So he's not as dominant as he has been, but I certainly want to back him at home. And that will be my plan. My plan will be to back Nolan McLean, expect him to deliver, but we have to study who he's opposed to and how we want to bet it. So I want to back Nolan McLean. And then, study more Manaea and who he's going up against. There could be an opener for Manaea. We know that Manaea is a journeyman. So, so that's the plan. I want to back Nolan McLean. As soon as this show's over, I'm going to put all my time into that first leg of the doubleheader. But at this point, we just don't have enough information to go off of. Troy Torrance says the fact that the Cubs are minus 125 at Hard Rock in Game 1 is telling us a lot. I guess you're right. That is telling us a lot. Yeah, they're minus 140 at Bovada. Minus 120. BetOnline just opened this up. I guess you're right. That is telling us a lot. That means it's got to be Shota Imanaga in the first place, but that's a strange. I'm not going to walk into the Mets at home against a Cubs team that's 3 games under. Now, the Mets are only 500 at home, but against a Cubs team that's 3 games under 500 on the road and take Nolan McLean as a dog. Because that's obviously, I would feel like that's what the books want us to do. So, you're right. That gives us more food for thought. here from Troy Torrance. And shout out to our guy Turnbuckle Tommy, says that game we talked about, that over in Seattle Pittsburgh, was the first thing that jumped out. If we would have faded that, we would have been money. I love that thought process. It's great. All of these angles that we are building are making us stronger and stronger and stronger, and that changed my ROI enormously. So I love that you are excited about that process. And then Troy says, is it McLean pitching for sure? You're right. I mean, that kind of tells us that maybe he's not pitching, but he's listed here at the books. Why would Nolan McLean be plus 105 at home? That's insane. There are some insane lines out there. So we're going to need some time here. It's too bad they haven't given us information on Cubbies Mets. I mean, these are two teams that we love gambling on. So we're going to need to wait. But I will be moving on game one. I want to back Nolan McLean at home, but I think Troy's absolutely right. That just makes no sense whatsoever. And when things don't make sense, we don't have the advantage. Let's roll on to Guardians, White Sox, Jose.
All right. Excuse me. Guardians, White Sox is indeed our next game on the board here. We've got Tanner Bybee versus Eric Fetty joining us on the bump here. Not too big of a difference in splits. 3.5 for Bybee compared to a 4.6. A little different, but not too bad from what we've seen from other pitchers in the league here. We've got 61% of the bets and 93% of the money on Cleveland Guardians here. 52 and 74 on the other and under, and it looks like, on the over. And it looks like actually we're getting Chris Murphy starting off this game. So we'll get Chris Murphy and then Eric Fetty here, most likely. Minus 125 opener has collapsed at Bet Online to minus 109 there. Very interesting. Heritage minus 115 opened up at minus 120. Minus 123. So a lot of bets and money on the Guardians. Line moving towards the White Sox. Feels like a White Sox spot. Jimmy, what do you think?
What pisses me off is that I got so caught up in capping it. It's the battle after the show is pretty extreme for me. I got to get my action in, and I need to be calm and sound and get my action in. And then I need to work as hard as I can. And it takes me a long time to cap the next day's card. So it's quite stressful. If I hadn't been on this run over the last 3 weeks or so, I would not be here anymore. Not fizz, like I wouldn't have killed myself, but I can't. Like, you're putting in all this hard work and effort, and if you're just sitting here taking a bath, well, what are you doing, man? Go get a fucking job. And that's what I would have done. Because it's so intense, the amount of work that needs to be done. I should have bet Cleveland, Chicago, like I told you guys, at 12:45 p.m. But the exhaustion, the trying to get my action out, I have no excuse for it. So I should be sitting here with a 9, under 9 at minus 110. It quickly moved to 8.5. Unfortunately, I have the 8.5. Now, nobody wants really unders with Fetty Wap here. He is very, very inconsistent. But when I've watched him, and I've watched him a lot, when he's rolling, it's at home. Now, again, we're talking about a home that's brand new to him, so it's not like right field, some special place for him. But in saying all that, I'm on the under 8.5 at minus 110. TJ's play of the day's Baltimore Orioles. I mean, it just must be bet. I mean, that's the must bet of the day. And I'll hammer that home. I've doubled up on the Orioles myself. Turnbuckle Tommy says White Sox have 39 plate appearances versus Bybee with a 143 average and a 374 OPS. The issue here, and I don't put too much faith into this Guardians bullpen struggling the way it is, but it's tricky trusting Bybee on the road. When we go over his last road starts, 3 earned runs over 5 1/3 at the Astros. Then he had a beautiful start June 6th at the Rangers. No one runs over 8 innings. 3 earned runs here. I guess, I take that back. Maybe it's just a vividness bias of him struggling on the road. Can you pull up the graphic again for the starting pitchers? Was there a big, was there any extremes with his home road splits? Because when I go over, I've got a bias of just only really wanting to back Bybee at home. So
I don't think so.
It's over
I mean,
a run.
it's better, but I don't think it's too dramatic personally.
Billy Frieder says Fetty is who you have to worry about here for the unders. I agree, and Fetty as a primary hasn't worked that well at times. The first time he was a primary, he allowed 8 earned runs over 3 1/3 at the Giants. The last 2 times he's been a primary, have been quite strong. So I'm comfortable, man. I'm comfortable. Look, I doubled down on the unders yesterday. I'm going to bet every single day. I'm going to bet the under in the Guardians game every single day till Ramirez comes back. Troy Torrance says that the Guardians' first 5 must be hammered. So let's just take a look at the price difference here. Because there's been a big move to the White Sox as we've seen. Guardians are minus 110 full game, and first 5 minus 120, which means the White Sox are plus 101 full game, and first 5 plus 104. So I will cheer you on here. Anybody on the Guardians, I will cheer you guys on. They're a no bet for me with that weak ass lineup with no Ramirez. But I'm on the full game under. That's my action here, Jose.
All right. Let's keep rolling on here then, and let's roll on to the shitty Boston Red Sox versus the Colorado Rockies here, minus 175 yet again for Ranger Suarez versus Kyle Freeland on the bump here. And you guys know I'm going to say bet the under in this game because I think the Red Sox are going to be the best under team in baseball this year. But Ranger Suarez has been very good. And in the starts, he hasn't been good. I mean, he's still giving a five innings, 4 earned runs, which for a really bad Red Sox team means the game's already over. But I think on normal teams, it would be not too bad there. 6 innings of almost perfect ball game last time out for Ranger Suarez. Pitched really well against the Mariners. Kyle Freeland, not too bad against the Pirates. 7 1/3, 2 earned runs at home. Can't complain about that, but it is our guy, Kyle Freeland, who we know very well. It's very funny that he has a better road ERA than he does home ERA, but so does Ranger Suarez, 2.21 compared to a 3.75 at Fenway Park here. Market in this game, we have 86% of the bets, 89% of the money on the Red Sox, 82 and 65 on the under in this game. Line has not moved at all at BetOnline, minus 165 opener. It is still there now. Jimmy, what'd you think?
Ramos is right. It's easy to say I could get a job, but I haven't had one since the year 2000 at Chevron. So I have no.
First question on the interview: why do you have such a long gap in employment history? Well, you see, I forgot to pay my taxes for a while too.
And Robert Cherry, by the way, Robert Cherry on White Sox first 5 plus a half. That's not out of the range of prices. You can get that at minus 133. White Sox first 5 plus a half. Here, I wanted the unders. I wanted the unders bad, and I moved on them. Spooner saying, remember Suarez almost as good as Anthony K. Where is our guy, TV Jones, man? I've enjoyed gapping with TV Jones and his love for Anthony K. Here, look, I wanted the under. Ranger Suarez is a beast. And, he May 30 went on the IL with the right hamstring tightness. He came out out of a cannon and looked excellent. Then he had hiccups, and there's going to be hiccups over a long period of time. May 26th to May 31st, 9 earned runs, 14 hits over 10 innings combined at the home versus the Braves and at the Guardians. And then he started shoving again. These last 3 starts have been excellent. You go back to his start last year at Coors Field, he doesn't allow a run over 6 innings. I don't know what date that was. I probably should have clicked on it now that I'm thinking about it, because that takes we care less about that if it's in end of March or April. We care more about that if he can do that in June or July. And then Kyle Freeland is very questionable. He had those 3 great starts to start the year. He went on the IL for shoulder inflammation, and then he looked horrific. Absolutely horrific. Turnbuckle Tommy talking about what the Red Sox are doing versus lefties. For me, over the last 30 days, I don't care what they've been doing versus lefties. 249, 725 OPS. I don't care. And there's TV Jones. PK is back to his Cy Young form. I love it. I love when the group's all together. But in saying all this, I moved on the first 3 under. I said I was going to be either first 3 under or first 5 under last night. And the first 3 under was expensive. It was minus 135 for the first 3 under, 3.5 for Suarez against Freeland. Freeland's last start was pretty good, over 7 1/3, 4-3 win at home versus the Pirates. 2 runs over 7 1/3. So, he's got the consecutive home starts. And look, I know he's a problem, and I know that it's not going to be fun, and it's never fun betting on unders with Kyle Freeland. And last week, it was so clear the market was screaming at us that game was going to go under, and I was still afraid to bet it. And it's very possible that I'm, late to the party and early to the funeral here, but I am on the first 3 under, 3.5 minus 135. And the very first thing I did when I woke up, was I went and saw what the line was, because I questioned last night, is this too expensive for a Kyle Freeland start, a minus 135? And I'm sure a lot of you guys are saying, yes, it's too expensive, Jimmy. You shouldn't have done it. I bet you TJ's saying that right now. Yes, it's too expensive. You shouldn't have done it. But when I went this morning, it was minus 145. So at least it's moved 10 cents in my direction. Colin Gregory says Red Sox smash. Josh Witt in the house. Great to see you. We have Robert Cherry on the under. Top set on Boston minus 1.5. Billy Friedrich on the first 5 under. Colin Gregory on Red Sox minus 1. Mark Staszowski also on the full game under. I'm on the first 3 under 3.5. Jose, you know this Red Sox team very well. You know this up-and-coming Rockies team in Freeland very well. What do you think the best under is? First 3, first 5, or full game?
Full game probably.
And then trusting the Rockies' terrible bullpen because the Red Sox are just a mess with the sticks.
Yeah, basically.
Because that's a 6.73 ERA, 1.75 WHIP over the last 30 days for the Rockies bullpen.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand, but this Red Sox team, real bad on offense, real bad.
And but I'm comfortable. First 3 under for me. Next game is the game of the day. It's the game of the day, man. It's the game of the day for me. There's certain games that truly capture the imagination. And this Orioles-Angels game really captured my imagination. TJ's play today is the Orioles plus 113. I've doubled down on the Orioles. And the other 2 spots where the lines make no sense, I don't have the balls to bet. But maybe I will if we continue working together. So, Jose, take it away here. Set us up for Orioles-Angels.
Yes, no problem. Jimmy, can you hit us with a refresh? Because your voice and video are not synced up right now. So thank you. We've got an interesting matchup on the bump here for certain, ladies and gentlemen, here, especially when we have a Gibson and it's not Kyle Gibson on the bump here versus Jose Soriano here. Whenever I see a Gibson, I just think, where is Kyle? Where is Kyle? But no, it's Trey Gibson on the bump here against the Angels. And what an interesting line we have here for this game here with Trey Gibson versus Jose Soriano, who once upon a time was the best pitcher in baseball for a few starts. Minus 130 openers, now minus 123 at Bet Online. So definite move towards the Orioles here with 57% of the bets and 77% of the money on the Angels here. So Orioles are definitely interesting to me along with the White Sox today. What do you think, Jimmy?
Marquez says Jose 69 mile per hour fastball stud. It was 59, wasn't it, Jose?
I don't remember. All these numbers just run together. Who's to say?
I tell you what, it wasn't, and that was 69 miles per hour. Yes, it is. I just put TJ's play today in with 2 other cappers who were on this. Von Polo, Smellgood play today on the Orioles, and Brian Smith, Orioles minus 1.5 at plus 160. So this line from the statistical profile of these 2 pitchers and the Orioles being 8 games under 500 on the road is insane. It is insane. Now, Soriano's not the pitcher we saw through the first 6 games. Rod Zawacki always brings great angles and information for us on the show. And last night, he talked about Soriano's daytime ERA because he'd had 5 starts in the daytime. And so I immediately said, well, if 3 of those 5 starts were within his first 6 starts of the year. Remember, he allowed 1 earned run through his first 6 starts, and I don't care. I'll put a line through them because he's not the pitcher he was at the beginning of the year. And if you watch Soriano, you're like, God, he's nasty. But something is missing, and it always has been missing. Look, do I want to back Trey Gibson here? 5.81 ERA, 1.71 whip, 6.18 expected ERA. Even in AAA, his whip was 1.53, walked 19 batters in 38 innings. He doesn't allow the long ball. He gets a lot of soft contact. Dougie Wise says the Baltimore bullpen is concerning. I don't think it is for me. I think the bullpen is really strong and pitching really well. Both bullpens are pitching well. I know the Angels bullpen's bounced back, but over the last 30 days, 3.28 ERA, 1.34 whip. In fact, over the last 30 days, both these bullpens have been excellent. Now, these teams are raking against righties, but how could, with a team that's 8 games under 500, with a pitcher who's been rocked. I mean, he's coming off a good start at the Dodgers, and a good start for him is this: 3 earned runs over 5 innings. He walked 4 batters. He did strike out 8. The start before that at home, he allowed 6 earned runs over 4 1/3 versus the Padres' weak-ass lineup. So how could Soriano, with his 3.03 ERA, 1.27 whip, be sitting here? It's be sitting here as so when we were breaking down this game here, am I still behind with my lagging still?
Sorry, I was looking at something else. I wasn't looking at you.
Let me know if I think I am lagging. I do believe it's what's with all of our stats and everything that's going on in the back, which I know we need to keep. But
you look good to me.
Okay, back to business here. When I was talking about this line last night, I was saying how if you are going to back a favorite, you need to have conviction on that favorite. I hadn't even looked. I just assumed that Soriano was like minus 150 or minus 160. When I went and saw that, he was minus 130 and it moved to minus 120. It's like, this is insane. Like, this is absolutely insane. And this is the must bet game on the board. Now, just because it's a must bet game, doesn't, I'm not going to sit here and say, look, it's, there's no guarantees and there's no locks. 56% of tickets and 78% of the cash is on the Angels. And if you were putting into your model these two teams and where they're at right now, and the Orioles on the road with Trey Smith, of course it's going to spit out back Soriano and the Angels. This line is nuts. I doubled down on the Orioles. They're going to get to Soriano. And I'm pumped up. Sick from the fall. I will refresh again, but it is just all the odds in the background slowing this down. But I will refresh again.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. You took the words right out of my mouth. All right, well, let's move on to Royals Rays here while Jimmy refreshes real quick here. We've got Noah Cameron versus Griffin Jacks real quick. We have our guy Griffin Jacks, who I've liked as a pitcher, and the transition to starter to reliever has been interesting to watch, especially because it's an organization with like the Rays, who I generally trust with all these things. There's 72% of the bets, 89% of the money on Griffin Jacks and the Rays, 75 and 78 on the over as well. This line has exploded really towards Griffin Jacks. Minus 125 is now minus 145. Wow. Well, that line moved in 10 minutes after being posted. So let's check out somewhere else real quick just to check and see their openers. Heritage minus 145 is now minus 147. That makes it a little more realistic to me there. Bovada minus 149. Opener is now minus 149 still. So let's just call that a minus 140 opener for Bovada. Or excuse me, for Bet Online, minus 145.
No, let's not. Let's not. It was minus 125. I know it's minus 125. So let's it's such a crucial part of the cap.
I just think that's a mistake. 10 minutes.
It's not a mistake.
And every other book has minus 140 openers.
Because they wait for the line move. Bet Online comes out first. It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. It was minus 125. Okay. It opened at minus 125.
Well, then take it away, Mr. Jimmy the Bag, because Noah Cameron is not a pitcher that I am running to the window to back. He's done okay in his not in his last 2 specifically, but before then, as you guys can see on screen. And Griffin Jack's home road ERAs have been pretty interesting to see here with the 1.29 compared to a 4.26.
opening line and the move towards Tampa Bay Rays, the whole thing is insane. The opening line is insane. The Rays are 26-10 at home. The Royals are 13-24 on the road. I didn't update it last night after the game, so that's changed by a game. It's just insane. I understand that the Royals are hitting right now, but and I think Jerry Davis says that backing the Orioles feels like the get cute play of the day. He says, "Good luck, no way. I'm backing Gibson with actual dollars." Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways, to bet baseball, and if you can trust your X's and O's over what the books are offering, and there's so many different ways. Shout out to Chappie Funk in the house, but here, I think that opening line is important. I always want to know where BetOnline opens it because they put out the market first, and then they adjust it with limits, and then the other books open up their lines. The minus 125 is absolutely insane. It makes no sense whatsoever. Noah Cameron, I've been waiting for him to step up, and he did. He did from May 22nd to June 7th through 4 starts, and then he kind of bounced back with a couple of rough starts. Griffin Jacks is pitching very well. So I understand that the opening line comes out because that's what the model said. The Rays are not hitting lefties at all. This is a controlled environment at the Trop. Why wouldn't Noah Cameron be able to go in there and kind of shut down this Rays offense? And Griffin Jacks is pitching very, very well. So even at minus 145, it doesn't, when you look at the records of these teams, I mean, you'd think that the Rays would be a much, much bigger favorite. So I wanted to know what the hell to do with this here. I was like, I was so tired last night of the show. It took me a long time to get my action in. And I was like, this game and the next game I need to really sit with. And what it tells me, the opening line being so short, is that the Rays are going to have trouble creating offense. Well, if that's the case and Griffin Jacks is pitching at the level that he's pitching at, I should take this information and bet the under. I should bet the first 3 under and the full game under. TJ is on Kansas City first 5 plus a half. Now that's another great way of handling this, because the opener, I couldn't stop thinking about this opener and the Treek Screwball opener. I couldn't stop thinking about. And right now the price for the Royals full games plus 131, and first 5 is plus 122. So there's a legit difference there. The Rays full game are minus 142, first 5 minus 141. I think maybe, there's no advantage for the Rays. I thought that the advantage would be with Griffin Jacks. I thought the advantage would also be with the Rays bullpen, even though Rays bullpen's not been very good of late. Shout out to Old E in the house, course, man. Talk Sports with JT here as well. So this is a game. Now, I don't know what the hell we're going to do with the Yankees-Tigers game, and I can't wait for you to set that up, and I can't wait to hear what everybody's going to do on it, because it's insane. But here for this one, I think this game is worth investing in. And so I think that the first 5 plus a half that TJ's on makes a ton of sense. And I also think unders make sense here, because I think it's the line's implying that Noah Cameron's going to pitch well here. Jerry Davis thinks that the under first 5 is probably the best play. For me, that would be a first 3, but I would like to invest in this. Now, I think that I would prefer to just have the first 3 under and that's it, because I can't trust these bullpens at all. And Topset says the bet is Tampa Bay team total under. That's a great way of looking at it as well. So this game is going to be an investment. I think the best way of handling it. Well, let's just quickly look at bullpen usage here before I say what the best way of handling it is, because I know that the bullpens have been bad, but the Rays bullpen ready to go, completely ready to go. I mean, from top to bottom, it's just Steven Matz who they don't really trust. So we have that. And then for the Royals bullpen is a problem. But I imagine, Seabold won't be able to go again. But Cruz should be able to go again. Beck, Way, and Strom, they all pitched yesterday. And then Schreiber, Urseg. Yeah, I think everything's fine. I think I should double up here. The free bands play today is the Royals. First 5 at plus 120. Shout out to the Gorkle. Switzerland money line for the Gorkle. And TV Jones says Royals up, Rays frauds with no offense. So I like this. I like the plan here. I would prefer the first 5 plus a half over the first 5 for that free bands is on money line, but I respect it very much. And I think it should probably require first 3 under and a full game under. So I'd like to invest in this one. Jose, I can't wait for you to set up this next game. It's unbelievable. It's insane to me. So let's roll.
All right. Excuse me. All right. Well, let's do it. Yankees, Tigers here. And it is indeed a rare time where you'll see the Yankees as an underdog, but it is well-deserved today because Tarek Skubal is on the bump versus Ryan Weathers here. And Skubal made a big plea for the Tigers, like this is our make or break time. If we don't start winning, a lot of us are not going to be in this locker room soon. So I expect him to lead from the front, pitch well here. Minus 135 openers, now minus 140. A 5-cent move there. And we have 50-50 ticket splits, 69% of the money on the Tigers here, about 50-50 on the total with 52 and 51 on the over in this game here.
So what did you think when you saw the opening line at minus 135 for Tariq Skubal at home?
I think it's a lot of respect for the Yankees. I mean, it's a little low for sure, but I just think it's a lot of respect for arguably the second best team in baseball. It wasn't too surprising to me personally.
Really? Okay, because I was fucking gobsmacked. I just couldn't.
It's like his second start coming back from an injury now?
Third?
Okay. I mean, it's the Yankees. The Yankees are good.
So
even without Judge.
What is your expectation of Ryan Weathers here?
And then we can pull up I'll show everyone the numbers against righties and lefties here. I personally don't trust Ryan Weathers. I understand that, but I mean, look at the numbers against lefties for the Tigers. 222 batting average, 258 for the last 5 games. If you guys are interested what their weighted runs created plus is for this month so far, I need to reset that real quick. Just give it a refresh. But I'll tell you guys right now, from the first of this month to today against left-handed pitching, the Tigers are 11th, 116 weighted runs. Oh, that's the Mets. 112 weighted runs created plus. So that's not too bad either, which is interesting. I just think it's a lot of respect for the Yankees. So something just cracked up, Jimmy. But I will have to say that I'm not too surprised at this opening line here.
I'm astonished by the opening line. The Tigers have been fine against lefties. They're healthy again. You have Skubal at home. Now, in saying that, I don't know if I'm rushing to, I think we could decipher, how to bet the Royals Rays game. This one here, Nate sent me such funny texts this morning. But staying focused here, a Skubal there's no Skubal tax. And I guess you're saying it's the Yankees tax that's the reason for this. The price difference here, the Yankees are plus 124 full game. First 5, they're plus 128. I mean, this is all just astonishing to me. It's I can't. I think that the only thing to do in this situation is bet the New York Yankees. The 50-50 ticket count is astonishing. The 69% of the cash on Skubal in Detroit makes sense, like it does with 78% of the cash on Soriano. That makes sense, of course. So with all of this being said here, I just think that you have to bet the Yankees. I think you have to. Well, not you. I have to, because the opening line for the Tigers, who are 11 games under 500, but they're 5 games over 500 at home. The difference between the Tigers at home and the Yankees on the road is minuscule. And the difference between Scooball and Ryan Weathers is massive. Jerry Davis is hard to back Tigers against left-handed pitching without Torres in the lineup. That's important. Goracle says Jimmy will be astonished tomorrow when the Elks win again. I'm on them plus 3.5. So I don't think gobsmacked can be used in that regard here. AM says, I believe this is the biggest plus money price the Yankees have had all season. Of course it is. They're on the road against Streak Scooball. I'm going to be on the New York Yankees full game. I can't put that. I think that's just the best way of handling what I think is an insane opening line. So that's great. So I wanted time to sit with these 2 lines, 3 lines if you include the Orioles game that I thought was absolutely insane, and we have done just that. So and Chris Warren says, is Scooball healthy? I mean, that's what Jose brought up too. And then look at Spooner, Scooball over 1.5 earned runs plus 114. That's a really interesting way of betting this, Spoons. I mean, I love working with this group, man. So that's a very, very, very interesting way. I'm going to copy and paste that spot. It's not usually how I maneuver with those types of bets, but that makes a ton of sense here. It's going to be Yankees full game for me. Jose, let's roll on.
Okay, we roll.
Sorry, with just one thing with Chris Warren asking if Scooball's healthy. Again, he's the first one to use the nano needle for the loose bodies in his elbow. So his recovery time was like a third of what it would normally be. So we don't really know. It's a good point. We've seen him through 10 1/3, and he's allowed 5 earned runs and 3 home runs. He struck out 12. It's not quite what Scooball we're used to with Scooball. So let's roll on.
All right, let's roll on to Pirates versus the Seattle Mariners here. And we have a fun one with Wu versus Ashcraft here. And if you would have told me this was the line for Wu versus Ashcraft last year, I would have been shocked to see that. Wu, 2 ERA at home in the friendly confines of T-Mobile, pitcher-friendly park. On the road, a 5.93 ERA this year, which is fascinating to see. His last start was a good one, but he went back-to-back against the Orioles. So it was interesting to see the adjustments he's made from there. As for Ashcraft here, I can assume he pitched against the A's, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 innings, 2 earned runs. Braves, a bad one there. But like I said, the home road splits are very interesting for this matchup here. We have market in this game. We have 59% of the bets on Seattle, but 79% of the money on Ashcraft and Pittsburgh here. Line has moved, shockingly enough, at BetOnline in Seattle's favor, minus 111 after opening up minus 115.
The opening line with Wu is a dog. So this is more of a test for me. I think it was either 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Maybe you remember, Jose, but there was a season where Tyler Mahle was the most predictable pitcher in Major League Baseball. At home, he would shove, and on the road, he would get annihilated. And after a little while, we just let go. Let go. Just if someone's going to be that predictable, let's just make money off of it and let go. Right now, Brian Wu's extremes between home and road are insane. His last 3 home starts, he's not allowed to run. His last 3 road starts, he's allowed 16 runs. Well, you know what? Ashcraft is a beast. I don't know if I have faded. I tell you, I've never faded Wu first 5 in my life. I've only backed him. This is the first time doing it. Now, we know that the Pirates bullpen is a problem. They looked okay yesterday, but they still blew another lead. So with all that being said, I don't see how I don't just trust the fact that Wu struggles on the road. And when I bet it last night, it was minus 111 full game for the Pirates, minus 112 first 5. And I was like, they're not even saying I have an advantage here. But I said, just trust it. Now it's minus 117 first 5. So that's moved 5 cents. So for me, this was pretty easy. It's a Pirates first 5 testing the legitimacy of is Brian Wu going to become the most predictable pitcher in Major League Baseball? And if he is, we will celebrate. Absolutely celebrate. And the gamblers' first glance here for razor sharp picks is the Chicago White Sox. I thought it was going to be the Orioles personally, but it is the Chicago White Sox from our guy Razor Sharp Pick. So I'll play the specialty plays of the day videos when we put a bow on the proceedings here, because we only have Jose for a short amount of time. We have one more game with him before we maybe two, but before we get into the World Cup action here. So Justin McKelvey has the Mariners minus 107.
I didn't even see how many games we have left. Good God.
But yeah, I'm in business here. Pirates first 5 for me, and a great to see Razor in the chat. And there's Rod Swag. He says, bet against Brian Wu on the money line on the road when the money line's plus 125 to minus 125. Wu's team record since 2020, 3-14. 3-14 from Rod Swag. So let's roll.
All right, let's roll on here to our next game, which is Phillies Nationals. And short line here. You won't see that with the Phillies or should I say the Nationals too often here. And it's a short line with Miles Mikolas on the bump here. Oh, how the mighty have fallen with Aaron Nola. The Nationals continue to be one of the most fun teams in baseball to watch because they score a lot of runs and their bullpen will give up those leads. So we always keep an eye out for those live bets. But I mean, Jimmy, how you feel about the Tarek Skubal line here is kind of how I feel about this line. I get it. Aaron Nola has been trash this whole year, but Miles Mikolas has been, like Patrick Corbin 2.0 for a lot of bettors. And I'll sit back and watch and laugh. His last few starts, you guys can see on screen, not good. 3 1/3, 5 1/3. Well, 5 1/3, 2 earned runs you'll take. But 3 1/3, 2 earned runs, no thanks. And 4 innings, 3 earned runs, no thanks. If you can't give me the length, at least prevent some runs, God damn it. But look at this home road split for Miles Mikolas. I mean, a 10, which is funny and kind of an outlier. But I mean, this line, it makes me feel like the Nationals are alive in it, Jimmy. I mean, normally I think this should be a minus 150, even with, again, Nola being as bad as he is now. But what do you think?
The line's insane. We expect Poulin to open for Mikolas. Poulin took him 8 pitches to get through the first inning yesterday. We expect that he will go again today. I don't know if the full game line is insane, Jose. I think that's maybe par for the course. But at Pinnacle, the Nats are plus 117 full game. First 5, they're minus 101.
Wow.
An 18-cent difference. If you put a line through the 2 Padres starts for Aaron Nola, he's been trash. I think it's fair to put a line through those starts. One of them was with the Marine Lair, and we're dealing with the Padres offense that can't hit. So Dougie Wise has massive value on the Phillies here. I think the Nats first 5 might be the best bet on the entire board. So I see this game differently than Dougie Wise. Dougie Wise running so hot right now, so definitely run with Dougie Wise. He's running extremely well, but the 18-cent difference is must-bet material. Must-bet material. I got a slightly plus money, but it's not like that's changed. Also, so listen to this here too, for those of you guys that are interested in moving on this game. Oh shit, sorry. The full game has moved since last night when I was betting this. The full game has moved towards the Phillies, and the first 5 has moved even further towards the Nats. So when I was betting this last night, I took the Nats first 5 plus a half. There was a 10-cent difference at 365 compared to Pinnacle, which never happens. So I got the first 5 plus a half at minus 125. It was minus 135 at Pinnacle. Right now, that first 5 plus a half is minus 135, sitting there minus 135. So, now I wouldn't bet it at minus 135. I think you'd have to have enormous conviction in a spot. And I don't know if I had it for the Rockies first 3 under, 3.5. Maybe I could have just left that off. But when you go up over minus 125 at VIG, you have to have enormous conviction. The books are telling you right now that the Nats are going to cover the first 5. I didn't need to bet the +0.5, but I'm sort of safe in that way. This is an 18-cent difference for first 5 in full game. It's not like the Nats bullpen's been trash. It hasn't been. Last time Michaelis was at home, he went 7 strong and didn't allow a run. Look, I'm not saying he's going to do that again, but the way we cap baseball, I don't know how anybody can look at this situation and not think, oh, I must bet the Nats first 5. I must bet them. That's what I thought. So here we go. Let's roll on. Let's do one more game, Jose, and then we'll run through World Cup.
All right. Well, muted myself. Let's do that. And let's do the Astros and your Toronto Blue Jays here, Mr. Jimmy the Bag, with Burrows. I was going to call him Jake Burrows, Mike Burrows. I don't know where these names come from sometimes. Mike Burrows versus Trey 21 Savage here. Oh, man. I don't know why that nickname tickles me every time, Jimmy, but it does. Let's talk about 21 Savage here. By the way, starting to get some trickles of information that it's Assad for game 1 of the doubleheader and Imanaga for game 2 of the doubleheader for those keeping track at home. But 21 Savage here has 81% of the bets and 89% of the money on him here. Some would consider that a lot. 67% of the bets, 91% of the money on the over. That would also be considered a lot there. -160 opener at BetOnline is now -154. Jimmy, what do you have to say about this game? I'm sure it's a lot.
The Assad taking. Oh, and Pasafe Lou Chase Fox is not one I can take credit for. That is the legend Peter Loshak. That's a Loshakism. Jerry Davis said Assad taking money against McLean's insane. It should probably be trusted, honestly, but I don't want to fade. Oh, okay. No, TJ says Mets got slammed when Assad was announced. And he's one of them. I don't understand that line. It just does not make sense to me. But again, here, this doesn't really make sense to me. All this money pouring in. This was one of the games I knew I needed time on to sit with. Burrows was basically skipped his last start. He was pitched out of the bullpen for 1 inning. So he's probably locked and loaded and ready to fire, and he wants an opportunity to pitch a Major League Baseball, one would assume. And Savage last start was phenomenal. It doesn't look that way because he went into the 8th inning when he wouldn't normally because our bullpen was exhausted and he allowed 2 solo shots. The 2 starts before that, he allowed 11 runs over 10 2/3. So the last 3 starts and 4 last 5 starts don't look good, but last start was excellent. And I don't understand with all of this cash coming in why the line would be moving, though, towards the Astros. It's unsettling, and it doesn't make me want to bet you, Savage. Jose, what do you think of the line move slightly towards the Astros with all the money on the Jays?
Yeah, it makes me want to bet the Astros, but it's not enough of a move for me. But it definitely makes me think that the Astros are live. Yeah, shout out to those people that are betting the Astros to win the division and stuff like that. I don't hate those bets, but I don't think this is a good baseball team.
Or that, this is a year I'm not going to do that. Or that Burrows is going to pitch well, but then this line has gone from 8 to 8.5. The roof is open, and I'm telling you, keep refreshing this throughout the day because it's changing massively every 4 or 5 hours. This went from like -8 or 9% runs to even runs last night. Now it's back to -5% runs. So it's changing with the wind here. TV Jones says over or nothing. Colin Gregory says Blue Jays -1. Jerry Davis on the Jays first 5 -0.5. And Spooner's on Alvarez over a half walk. A Savage under 5.5 Ks and Jays money line. Interesting. They really like the walk prop for Alvarez in the game. Didn't want to beat DraftKings walk prop the night before. Wow, so he got plus 788 on that SGP there. That's a really
hit me with a refresh one time before I go. Old Jimmy the Bag here.
Sure. You know what? I'll just go fully out of here and come back in. Let me do that.
Okay, well, thank you very much. While you do that, Jimmy, I will start on the World Cup breakdowns here. We went 1-0 yesterday on the World Cup, which was nice. That Portugal match was super easy, and I'm glad that we got that cash yesterday. Now, let's get into the World Cup games for today. That means we start off with Bosnia-Herzegovina versus Qatar here. And let me pull up my odds here real quick for these games. This has been very helpful, actually. So, and I will also just quickly run through like the standings of the group, what they need to happen, etc. Because this is the last set of group games here, and that is why we're getting a shitload of games here today. So the second round is coming here. But let's talk about this here real quick. Bosnia-Herzegovina versus Qatar, both sitting at 1 point. So this is a elimination match for both of them here. Ties, it's kind of the third place teams. There's a few with 2 points, but it seems like they're going to need a win here to have a chance. Canada and Switzerland play, and we'll talk about that game here in a second. But I think Bosnia comes out here and smacks Qatar in the mouth here yet again. Qatar just not a good soccer nation, and the fact they qualified is definitely due to the World Cup getting bigger, to say the least, in size. So I obviously was looking towards Bosnia here, but the line has exploded in their direction here. Let me re-log into my site as I got logged out to see what prices I have for me here. Right now I have Bosnia minus 275, which is tough to try to move on. Minus 1.5 is minus 175. I don't hate a team total, but it's 2.5. I would rather it have been 1.5 and hope I could get Bosnia there. But I think they roll here. If you bet them, if you parlay them, I wouldn't hate that, but I just am not going to bet them straight. Welcome back, Jimmy.
Thank you.
I think Bosnia wins going away. Do you have any culinary fun facts about Bosnia or Qatar?
No, I don't. I can pick them up. I can get them. Here, I mean, it's hard to beat Plav though, and
Sure.
I've been messaged by a bunch of Uzbekistanis, and they want to share Plav with me. They want to have a big Plav party. They're, sending pictures of their very attractive daughters and sisters, and so they've captured the imagination of Uzbekistanis everywhere.
Sure. My mom used to say all the time that she was going to whore me and my brother out to some Icelandic women, as they need more men in their population, apparently. And they're not repopulating the Icelandic heritage.
They're looking for men that can throw over 60, though. That's one of the problems, one of the caveats.
Well, just give me 2 weeks and I can get there.
All right.
2 weeks. Maybe one lesson with Cap, and I'll get there as well. Switzerland versus Canada. Big match for Canada, Jimmy.
Huge
here. World Cup standings in this group. We've got, like I said, Switzerland and Canada tied atop of the leaderboards here. And Switzerland is not as good as they once were. Shout out to my guy, Xhaka there. He's not there anymore. Not Granite. I'm thinking about Jordan Shaqiri, actually, is who I'm thinking of here. Shout out to him. Line movement has gone in favor of El Draw here, because naturally that's kind of what both teams need to just get on through here. I actually had a permutations thing that I need to go find again, but 5 points for both teams will get them through. Even if Bosnia and Qatar win, they'll obviously have only 4 points. So if you're looking to bet a draw here, I could easily see that one happening in Canada, Suiza here. I've definitely thought about it myself. Moving on a draw. Jimmy, any thoughts on your Canadians here?
I think Switzerland wants to win the division or the group. I think they, the huge outpouring of offense against Qatar has, Canada wins the group if it's a draw. I do think that the draw is heavily in play, but I think Switzerland believe they're a better team than Canada and want to go ahead and win the group. So, we have the Goracle fading his home country.
Yeah. Okay, so I brought up the permutations here. And yes, if Switzerland drew, it's Swiss number 1, Canada number 2, and Bosnia will be finishing third.
Wait, you're saying, but we have the goals for way over Switzerland.
The tiebreaker is head-to-head and then goal difference.
Yeah, so if we tie Switzerland, we're in.
So you're in apparently second. Yes. That is what I'm looking at this permutations chart.
Okay, well, that's not the case.
So that is why I'm referencing that. Yeah, they have if Switzerland. I'm
How could
looking at it.
Yeah,
Excuse me, I was looking at the wrong side. I was looking at Bosnia Qatar draw.
yeah.
Excuse me there.
That's all
So
good.
I was looking at that. So it's draws for all three. It's Canada, Switzerland, and then doesn't matter from there. Apologies.
No way.
All right. So I like the draw, but I'm not going to bet it. Is the point of all that?
I get the draw too. I get it. Next spot on the board here, Jose. We only have to do 4 more minutes. Let's be very quick here. We have Morocco versus Haiti. Of course, Flash gave us Morocco to be the top African nation, and they've looked excellent so far. He's got Morocco to beat Haiti. Flash does on the -1.5 line. This line's moved heavily towards Morocco from -275 to -540. And then from a total side of things here, we have a move towards the under. This was 2 3/4 of the pick'em. Oh no, sorry, my bad. This has been a 26-cent move to the over 2 3/4. Now we have 3s on the board. Jose, take it away.
Yep, I agree with Flash. It's probably going to be a Morocco shit kicking. Again, I think the best angle of this World Cup has just been taking advantage of these countries that are not typically in the World Cup, and the fact that they expanded gives all these shittier countries a chance. Shittier when it comes to soccer. Haiti, great story, but I think they probably just take another L. It would have been another. This again should have been another 0 points team for me, but I think Morocco gets it done. And yeah, Morocco wins. They basically are assured a share of first place in this group. So I expect them to roll here. I need to actually look at the line, what -1.5 is for me here. I have minus. Where are you? I have -2, -125. That's tough. And I have a team total over 2.5 at -125. That I'll rock with in this game. Team total over 2.5 -125 for Morocco.
Morocco team total over here. Next spot on the board, Scotland versus Brazil. This total is moved. I guess it hasn't moved that much. Moved a tiny bit towards the under. And then on the money line here, we have Brazil opening up -260, now -310. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is the most important Scottish football match in I don't know how long, a fucking long ass time. They're obviously the big underdogs. This is in Miami. My sister will be there. Fun fact, shout out to her. But yeah, this is a huge match for the Scots. I really like the fan in me, I guess, really wants to bet the draw here. Brazil has not been good. But I think I'm going to save my Brazil fade for the round of 32 when they play Japan. I'll fade them at that point. But I unfortunately think that Scotland probably loses this game 1-2-0. They'll probably, I don't know exactly what the third place, how many points you'll need to advance yet. They'll probably advance. But man, it'd be fun if Scotland found a way to draw or win this game here. If they do draw, they would just need a Morocco win for Brazil to not still come in first. But I think this is probably a Brazil shit kicking. I'm just not going to bet it because it's a very motivated Scotland team. Very motivated Scotland team. Thank you, Nate. I'll pass that along to her.
Oh, it's teamwork. Next spot on the board, Czechia versus Mexico. The line's moved very slightly towards Mexico, just 10 cents of movement from +103 to -107 here. And then from a total standpoint, we have a big move to the over, Jose. A big move to the over from 2 1/4. That was basically a flat 2 1/4 to 2.5. Some books are even 2 3/4 juiced to the under, obviously. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, I don't have a reason to believe that Mexico is going to try in this game. They're locked up in the first place. Why would they throw their starters out here? Czechia needs this game to have like a fighting shot. I mean, their permutations, if they win this game, they could finish in second or third, especially if South Africa can find a way to beat Korea, which I don't think is going to happen. So most likely that if Korea and South Africa or Korea and Czechia win, they'll finish in third place. And they currently have, for those people keeping track at home, they currently have 1 point. So 4 points will probably get it done for them. I just there's no lineups yet, I believe, for this game since it's so late. No rumors either, obviously, but I like Czechia here. I really do. I just don't understand again why Mexico would play their starters. I get that these games are Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong. This game's obviously in Mexico still. I don't think they.
Yeah.
I think Mexico has one more game in the round of like the knockout rounds, and that's it. So once Mexico gets out of Mexico, that's where I'll be fading the Mexican team. It's just superpowers there, but like I'm very close to moving on Czechia here as well. Like why is Mexico going to try? Country pride, I guess. You don't want to lose in front of your home fan, I guess. But what's more important, keeping your main guys healthy or getting a meaningless win? I think it's keeping your guys healthy. So
Definitely.
I don't hate Remmo saying the under 2.5 here, but I am close to betting Czechia. I probably will end up betting Czechia, and then I will fade Mexico again when they're out of Mexico.
And Joseph Gomez loving the draw at half and the under 2.5. Final spot on the board for us: South Africa, Republic of Korea. Here we have a move to the over. Was a 2.25 opener, basically flat. Now it's 2.5. And then on the money line here for the final spot on the board, we have a big move towards Korea, plus 118 to minus 168. 86 cents of movement. What do you think here?
It's tough. Like how do you not just follow the win there? Like just the way I cap. How do you not just add Korea onto your list and you move on here? I don't think South Africa has been good at all. Those red cards to start their tournament kind of just derailed everything. So I don't know. I think that Korea probably gets up and rolls here. Again, if Korea wins, looking at their permutation, Korea wins, they will basically lock up second place. Obviously better than being in third place. So plenty of motivation for them to come out here and win. I forgot what the parlay I said it was yesterday. I think it was England and whoever, and obviously I think England, or I know England drew, but this is just another one where I'm like, how do you not take South Korea? How do you not take a Bosnia? And you just kind of walk away and with the parlay here. I also, again, if you really want to get ballsy, you throw Czechia in that parlay to make it spicy. But yeah, it's South Korea or nothing. They have to win this game to lock up second place. They want to win second place. So yeah, South Korea or nothing for me.
South Korea or nothing. And Billy Friedrich says under. That is the World Cup breakdowns. We're going to go back to Major League Baseball. We lose our friend Jose Bouquet. And Jose, we are on
Brewers Reds.
Brewers Reds. Okay, Brewers Reds. Okay, thank you for rocking with us, my man. Any last words for the cappers supporting the show?
Nope. Shout out to you guys in the chat. I will be back here on Friday. It should be a lot of fun to cap the card here. Thank you, Jimmy, for helping me make some money this week as well, because yesterday was very it was nice. I'm not going to say very lucrative, but it was a nice beginning. So shout out to you. Thank you. By the way, I have 2 weddings and a bachelor party to go to in the next 2-3 months. So the bankroll could be taking a hit. But thanks, everyone. Shout out to you guys, and I'll see you guys on Friday.
Our guy, Jose Bouquet, in the house. We move back to Major League Baseball here, 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee Brewers, 46-29, 21-14 on the road at Cincinnati Reds, 37-39, 19-19 at home. Let's go into Ballpark Pal. Shout out to Sharpie in the house. He's moving on Nolan McLean, 6 or more strikeouts. Cincinnati Reds here. Let's talk about Great American Ballpark. Plus 10% runs, plus 15% homers, plus 6% doubles and triples, and minus 3% singles. So this was another spot where I just needed to sit with it for longer. Shane Drohan, the lefty here, has been really good. 5th round pick in 2020 by the Red Sox out of Florida State. He had a very short. He was hurt early in the year, so they really believed in him immediately. They knew that he was going to play up in the show, and so he only threw 13 and 2/3 innings in AAA before he was called up, and he was excellent in those 13 and 2/3 innings. Started twice, pitched in 3 games. Here in the show, he's got 3.40 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, 3.14 expected ERA. The reason why I needed more money on this, or more time on this one, was that the Reds hit lefties hard. And these are bullpens. The Brewers bullpen doesn't look nearly as dominant as it once did. This now, clearly, they're not hitting him as hard last 5 games, 223 OPS, but 255 with a 774 OPS the last 30 days here. And the Brewers are just not, and their bullpen is not as dominant as it once was. Now, it's still very strong, but 4.10 ERA, 1.27 WHIP over the last 30 days. TJ has Reds money line on his card. And you guys know I'm waiting for Rhett Lauder to show out. I've been waiting for it. We didn't see him at all last year. And, I backed him to get 9 outs against the Yankees, and that did not work. And Elio told me, Topset in our chat, told me not to make that bet. And he still battled. I mean, this is 7th overall draft pick. He still battled and fought his way to an okay start and did relieve the bullpen from too much pressure. I find it fascinating here that our guy TJ is on the Reds money line. I mean, this line has gone for the Brewers from minus 135 to minus 126. And when we take a look at the cash flow here, there's 78% of the tickets and 81% of cash on Milwaukee. It is not fun to fade the Brewers in any capacity whatsoever. And Jerry Davis is going for 7 in a row unders at Great American Ballpark, under 9.5 and minus 110. So let's take a look at the price difference for first 5 and full game here. If there's any kind of indication that Lauder is going to pitch well, I think this move 10 cents away from the Brewers. Like, I completely understand why the bet is being made by TJ. And also, look, TJ wakes up and bets the Brewers nonstop. So the fact that he's on the Reds is something that we should be, hyper aware of. This line minus 126 for the Brewers full game, minus 138 first 5. I'm a little surprised by that. Plus 116 for the Reds full game and plus 120 first 5. So they're not saying it's Rhett Lauder's advantage. I mean, one thing we talked about over the last few weeks as we've been running, this is a 48-unit run over what? Not even 3 weeks. Or I guess it would be 3 weeks. It's 20 days. And is that there's room in our life for market-based bets. And this would have to be considered a market-based bet to me. Because it's a danger fading the Brewers. I don't know if I have the balls. Man. I got TJ copied and pasted here. Same with Jerry's under. I figure that, let's go for Drohan here. Last start was really nice at home versus the Guardians. He's had 2 straight home starts. The last road start was nice, though. 3 in runs over 6 in the third. One of the things that's really interesting about Drohan, which makes me want to actually take the Reds first 5. The market's not telling us to do that, and I should probably heed the market's advice, but Drohan has not pitched on the road at all. His very first start was, in Wrigley Field. That's May 18th. And then May 22nd at home, because those were bullpen games. May 22nd out of the bullpen, May 24th out of the bullpen, both at home. May 27th out of the bullpen at home. June 1st, got a start at home. So we've only seen him on the road one time, basically, other than that opening start. So I guess that Sick from the Fall says, doesn't the market-based bet sometimes backfire on us? Well, sure. There's nothing that's, There's no locks and no guarantees, but it's certainly been the market-based bets have been on fire. I haven't lost one, not one in this last 20 days. I mean, I haven't bet many. I think that under makes a lot of sense. I think both of our guys, I think they both make sense. I think I would be much more comfortable cutting the game down to 5 innings. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but that's the first thing that I think. And then this total's gone from 9 to 9.5. I'm very hesitant to make these moves, when the line's moving in a certain direction. I see you guys be able to do that. TV Jones says Ashby, McGill, Uribe, used up. Pitching staff 19 innings, no one runs, 27 Ks, no walks, last 2 versus Reds. Says Brewers or first 5 under, and he likes the first 5 under more. Luchase Fox says Brew Crew for me, but they're just a better team. Says I ended up taking Brewers over 91.5 wins. Yeah, I remember that. And TJ says I wouldn't cut it. Brewers high leverage arbs all on back to back. So look, I because it's gone from 99.5, I'm not going to move on the under. That's just not. I respect it, but it's just something I can't do unless I know exactly why it's doing that, and I wouldn't say I do here. So the Reds do interest me because of the market, and I may get to the window on it. All right, let's roll on. Next spot on the board here. This is the one I want to talk about badly. Dodgers, Twins, Target Field, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Look, I want to back Joe Ryan first 5 plus a half. I want to badly, and I'm going to. It's just at what number? Target Field, as you can see, plus 2% runs, plus 2% homers, minus 2% doubles and triples, and plus 2% singles here. We have Ohtani. And Ohtani's last 2 starts, he's allowed 7 earned runs. Now, look, he's been phenomenal this year, but why would anybody be surprised if he's dealing with some arm fatigue? This guy doesn't, this isn't a consistent thing, him going deep into seasons as a pitcher. So it shouldn't surprise any of us here if that is the case. And we have Joe Ryan, who is, an absolute monster. Mr. Consistent, very, very trustworthy, delivers at home. What an opportunity it is for Joe Ryan to pitch against Shohei Ohtani. Think Shohei Ohtani cares about going up against Joe Ryan and Minnetonka? The answer is no. But this really means something for Joe Ryan. So the idea, Elio Topset told us that he was going to be on the Dodgers first 5 minus a half, and I told him, well, I would be on the Twins first 5 plus a half. I'd be going up against. And then the idea was, well, we should wait here. This major line move towards Minnesota is because it was Connor Prelip expected to pitch. The opening lines were with Connor Prelip. Joe Ryan was pushed back from yesterday's start. I thought that was rain related, but it's because they want him to go up against Shohei. They want to put on a show for their fans and give Joe Ryan this opportunity. All that's happened here is this line is not moved at all. So we'll see if the first 5. I don't think there's any reason to wait here. Maybe you wait and wait, and then move on at last minute, expecting late money to come in on the Dodgers. But it doesn't seem to be happening here. Dodgers are minus 169 full game. First 5 are minus 155. That Minnesota Twins, so it's flipped, by the way, also. This is important. But last night, the Dodgers' first 5 minus a half was minus 107. And, I guess it hasn't flipped. What am I talking about? Yeah, it was minus 107, minus 111. I guess it stayed the same. And the Twins were, sorry, it's moved 1 cent. Sorry, I take that back. But yeah, I'm going to be on the Twins first 5 plus a half, but that's not all that I want. And Sharpie saying that Joe Ryan was sick. Huh. I didn't. That makes it a little more concerning. Oh, yeah, he's improving with medication. Huh. Well, that's not appealing. Thank you for sharing that with us, Sharpie. He said, I was not really sure what was going on. Then the next day I was like, I don't know. I started to feel progressively worse over the last couple of days. I had really bad night sweats. I was waking up in the middle of the night. Wow. Okay. Well, that changes things, doesn't it? Toby Lane on the Sky money line. I'm with you on the Sky, Toby Lane. I'd love to hear it. Still appealing to my man Warbucks, but That takes quite a bit away from it here. Okay, so my plan then that I had was to, even that Twins first 3 plus a half was minus 150. I was wondering if that line would change. So you know what? I think that's going to change quite a bit for me. I thought it was maybe because of the rain. But I don't. You know what? This is not the way I want to have Joe Ryan. I imagine he can still pitch well here. We've seen lots of high-level athletes handle sickness fine. So I'm not going to move on it. And thank you, Sharpie. Even if that would have cashed, it's just so important to have information and know that. And I didn't know that. So thank you, Sharpie. Shout out to Eberk in the house. Says, is Ohtani healthy? Yeah, he's been dealing with a blister. No, it's important. Oh, you tried telling me last night. Yeah, man, I missed it. Damn, okay. Sorry. Okay, let's roll on here. Warbucks says, whenever I see fishy, should I go the other way and win? Oh, I get that, Warbucks. I'm all over that. But what's fishy about this? Wouldn't you have put this line with Joe Ryan at home around plus 150 and Dodgers on the road minus 170 with Ohtani? I think that's exactly where I would have put it. In saying that, I still wanted Joe Ryan first 5 plus a half because my ROI backing great pitchers first 5 plus a run or a half run is huge. I don't, but I'm the same way with you, Warbucks. When I see fishy shit, I go the other way. Let's roll on. Arizona Diamondbacks, St. Louis Cardinals. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. I gave a pretty long breakdown of 22-year-old Mitch Bratt. We're extremely excited up here to watch Mitch Bratt have his MLB debut at 22 years of age. Busch Stadium is where we will see it. And Busch Stadium is not, as usual, run suppressing like it usually is. It's even runs, 0% runs, plus 0% homers, plus 2% doubles and triples, and plus 4% singles, which means that it's offensive weather. If it's weather only, it's plus 6% runs, plus 10% homers, plus 6% doubles and triples, and even 4 singles. And the Mitch Bratt here, Newmarket, Ontario. It's from about 20 minutes away from here. We've had Jonah Tong and Mitch Bratt come up, and I don't know what Jonah Tong's going to do from day to day, game to game, whether it's in AAA or majors. He's a wild card on the mound. Mitch Bratt is the best young pitcher in the country. And what he did in Reno this past season was phenomenal. I mean, you're pitching 4,500 feet in the desert. We know the ball flies, and his off-speed pitches don't move, and it's a hitter's paradise. And he had a 2.84 ERA and a 0.95 WHIP. It's home run after home run after home run in Reno, and he allows 4 home runs out of 44 and a third. So all I want, and look, I don't think Mitch Liberatore is a good pitcher. I want to fade Mitch Liberatore badly. Now he has stepped up at times, and when he steps up, it's generally at home. So, but the Diamondbacks, my vividness bias says they smash lefties. Obviously, that's not been the case of late. Their numbers against lefties have slowed down, but they were just destroying the ball. And I don't put too much emphasis into the fact that the last 5 games haven't gone really their way. So with all of this being said, I was just wondering what the line was going to be. It wasn't available last night. I was wondering if the first 5 would be, more expensive or cheaper here. The Diamondbacks bullpen is being trash. The Cardinals bullpen has been bad of late. It's funny because I really trust both of these bullpens. The Cards bullpen 3.91 ERA, 1.27 WHIP. Diamondbacks over the last 30. Diamondbacks bullpen 4.20 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. They both are decent versus left-handed pitchers. Cards 261, 736 last 30. Diamondbacks 247, 720. And so I just want to know what was the line going to do. Diamondbacks are plus 105 right now, and they're plus 100 first 5. So that's interesting. So this in the morning when I was looking at it, when it finally came out, didn't come up until I went to sleep, was plus 102 full game and plus 103 first 5. So we clearly have some people who think that Mitch Bratt is going to pitch, and I'm one of them. So I'm going to be on the Diamondbacks first 5. It's not a first 3, first 5 spot, but I'm going to back Mitch Bratt. And this isn't just fandom because he's from 15 minutes away from here. Look at those numbers in Reno. The kid, look, we're in this golden age of pitching right now, and watching Gage jump and Ryan Johnson deliver. I hope I can include Mitch Bratt in that group. We'll see if we can. Sharpie says, I like to back young studs in the first game win at home. Being on the road, they have to sit for the top of the inning, let butterflies get bigger. When at home, it's much more routine. It's warm up and pitch. Yeah, that's legit. That's fair. I think we'd probably, but then again, it's nice to go up against Liberator. It's going to be packed on Busch Stadium. I'm excited for the kid. But yeah, he's going to have butterflies, but this kid can shove. Again, I'm not on any props of his. I'm just going to be on the Arizona Diamondbacks first 5. Next one on the board, Braves, Padres, Petco Park in San Diego, California. Let's get into Ballpark Pals' expectation of Petco Park. Minus 5% runs, even for homers, minus 6% doubles and triples, minus 6% singles. We have Martin Perez on the hill, 6-3, 2.78 ERA, 1.07 whip. It's got a 3.90 expected ERA. And I thought he was going to go up against Randy Vasquez, and I was for sure going to back him. Then we find out here. Now Martinez says, tough fading Libby, local Arizona boy. He's not been good to me, Al Martinez. So it's pretty easy for me to do that. But so here in this one, look, I like Martin Perez. I always have. I don't understand why every team doesn't want him. He gets paid squat. You pick him up for a cup of coffee every year. Last 2 starts have been excellent. That last start at the home versus the Brewers was very, very good. Very good. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and a 3-2 win at home versus the Brewers. Warbucks says he's a simple man. He says, I see Sharpie, I tail. I respect that, Warbucks. I love the simple man line. I've been using it anytime someone tries to sell me something in the store. I just look at them and say, I'm a simple man. And I walk away. It's just because they don't know what to say. They just, it's instead, it's just working. It's not as good as saying, to an old woman with short hair, you know what, mister, I'm not in the mood for this. That's the best trump card I have. But I'm a simple man. I've 3 times, last 3 times. I just had to pick up a gift for my mom and sister. They're trying, I'm just like, look, I'm a simple man. Let's ring this up. But back here, it's JP Sears in AAA here. JP, and look, Lindor will be activated for game 2. There's a sweaty butcher in the house. JP Sears here. What the hell are you going to get from JP Sears? These soft tossing lefties. He's been getting annihilated in AAA. In AAA this year, now it's tough to pitch in El Paso. 7.92 ERA, 1.84 whip, but that doesn't even tell the whole story. In his last 6 starts, so since May 19th, he has 11.14 ERA and a 2.02 whip. The problem that I've had historically is thinking that if I was down in Costa Rica in 2017, I would say he has to be faded. He must be faded. That just didn't work that well for me. I don't know what the hell it is. These older veterans, maybe they just don't care about pitching in El Paso. Some guys force their way back into the show, and some guys are like, look, this is my life. This sucks, and just pitch terrible. TV Jones says Padres bullpen absolutely fried, and the Mariners on deck. Did it work, Kelly? Not excuse me, sir. You just say, you know what, mister? I'm not in the mood for this. Or, you know what, sir? I'm not in the mood for this. Those are my spots here. Let's take a look at the line history here because the bullpens here are both excellent. I know the Padres bullpen's been hit up lately, but I still trust them. Both bullpens are excellent. And these teams can't, Braves and Padres, they both struggle against left-handed pitching. Now, the Braves were annihilating left-handed pitching earlier in the year, and not annihilating so much, but they kept winning against left-handed pitchers. That's kind of stopped. That is kind of stopped here. So let's take a look at this line history and then roll on. Line history wise, we have 20 minutes until the daily session, so we got to keep moving here. Line history wise, we've had a move towards JP Sears from plus 113 to plus 103. God, and I've seen this so often in the past, these pitchers with these horrific numbers in the Pacific Coast League come in and deliver. I mean, he's going to love the Marine layer. He's going to love being back in the show. This total opens up at 7.5, which I understand is insane. Moves to an 8 now, an 8.5. Now that might have been a Vasquez line, but Vasquez looks terrible. Oh, beautiful, Kelly. Keep it up, man. Always making moves is looking at Milwaukee money line. I mean, of course, it makes perfect sense. Always making moves. It's just that the line moving towards the Reds, and it's very fishy. Very, very fishy. John Bender says Braves down to -115, which means that they're respecting JP Sears more than they're respecting Randy Vasquez. I mean, this is just. I'm going to have to sit with this. Obviously, he wants to have a job in Major League Baseball with the injuries, and he's only up here because Giolito's injury. The Padres don't want to keep throwing out Vasquez every 5 days. And I don't want to fade Perez. I think I'm better off just staying off this game. But again, if this was just a market-based bet, it would be on the Padres. And I'm not against making that move. I'm going to sit with it for a little bit longer, though, before that decision's made. Let's talk about the final spot on the board, and we get our guy Gage Jump. So I bet the A's first 3 and first 5 as soon as I possibly could. And the first 3 was at 365. Fucking trash book. There's a reason why my local acts as 365 because it's, those huge VIG, and it makes perfect sense here. It was insane, this full game line, and it's not moving. Now, the first 5 did, and we'll go over all of this. I would just like to see what the first 3 is now. I haven't looked back since I bet it last night. And it has not moved a cent. It's a little concerning, -135. Now, I got the first 5 at -124. That made no sense to me at all. But again, I'm just going to trust Gage Jump, and whatever. I think Gage Jump is an absolute monster, and I'm just going to trust him. And so that's what I did. And wow, the A's are down to -109 at Penny. And the first 5's -115. Wow. This is not good. So, I think this is pretty simple. And we don't have to listen. Again, there's no reason that we have to listen to this spot. And I said this last night. I was like, look, if this line moves towards the Giants, it could only mean one thing. And that's that Molly's going to pitch really well. It could only mean that. So Molly was placed on the 15-day IL with a left hamstring strain. He's coming back home. We all remember what he did last year, and it really helped pitching at Arlington. Roof was closed consistently in his starts. 2.18 ERA, 1.13 whip. This year he's been trash. 6.04 ERA, 1.54 whip. Now we have a veteran on the IL that wasn't arm-related. And he looked terrible in his rehab start at AAA Sacramento. He's so wild. He walked 5 batters in 3 innings. Wow. I get it, Colin. So and Sick from Fall says he bet at -140, now it's down -120. Honestly, we need to hope for a push because this line is absolutely insane. And Marco Polo says Braves have lost 8 consecutive games at Petco. Will they make it 9? Maybe that's a big part of it, Marco. Thank you for adding that stat. So I know what must happen here. These bullpens are trash. They can't be trusted. Neither bullpen is, but now look, the Giants bullpen's been better the last 10 games. The Giants are at home, so maybe you lean towards that. And it has to be under. So let's see if this total has dropped. It hasn't. It's moved up 20 cents. Was there ever a drop? No, it just keeps climbing. Well, that's not going to change anything for me. I am going to move on. Because I know that Gage Jump's going to pitch fine here. I think the books are telling us that. I mean, if this line moves towards the Giants, and I'm such a Gage Jump believer, and Mark Stoutsky and the Toronto line just dropped fast right now. Robert Franklin not scared taking the A's first 5 money line at this price. I am going to move on the first 3 under and the full game under. Now, with this last move that just happened, I'm going to wait. This is the same thing I did yesterday. Now, it didn't help waiting. And can you believe 4 runs were scored and I lose the first 3 under? I did catch the full game under. And I catch the Giants first 5 minus half, full game minus 1. So I'm not going to sit here and complain. But you know what I would have done if I hadn't bet this last night and I came to you guys with this. Now, obviously, I'm just fucking champing to bet Gage jump every opportunity I can get. But when this came up here, if I didn't bet this, I would be sitting here saying we got to bet the under. But again, we should wait because that last move towards the over, and I think that could be predicated on. Let's see if this first 5 totals moved also. That was a 12-cent move that happened at 10:30 a.m. So happened an hour and 16 minutes ago. So let's just see if there's any move on the first 5 here. The first 5 has gone from 4 to 4.5. I don't care. I'm going to bet it, but I'm not going to bet it right now. I'm not going to bet it right now. Okay, that is Major League Baseball for Wednesday, June 24th. We are coming off a 15-8 day, which was wonderful, plus 6.26 units. It's funny that it doesn't feel like it just feels solid. You know, we had in the last 20 days, I've had 2 different days where I went up 15 units. It took me 9 years to have a 15-unit day, 15.37 units on the day when I was flying back to Toronto. And then we beat it with a 15.51 unit day 9 days later. And I'm still not in the black in the year. ROI minus 0.14%. I'm down 1.10 units over 764 bets. I want the black. I want it today. And I expect to get it today. I came in here with 10 bets. Texas, Miami, first 3 under 2. Texas, Miami, full game under 7.5. Cleveland, Chicago White Sox under 8.5. Athletics, first 3 and first 5, minus 135, minus 124, respectively. That first 5 line was minus 137 when I checked it this morning. Now it's minus 115. That is not good, man. That is not good. Boston, Colorado, first 3 under 3.5, minus 135. Moved 10 cents. My favorite. Pirates, first 5, minus 115. I thought it got better than that. Huh. I thought that was okay. Nationals first 5 plus a half of minus 125, and then Orioles first 5 and Orioles full game. Talk Sports with JT just joined us on that under 7.5 here. So let's talk about additions here because I'm going to make a bunch of them right now. The additions here, and then we're going to go over the specialty plays. We've got to be quick here. So let's just roll through here. It's astonishing. I can't wait to study the Cubs and Mets game now that we know Assad's in game 1. But the additions will be, I guess no additions early. And I got all that action in. Okay, so it starts with the Royals. First 3 under, full game under, first 5 plus a half for the Kansas City Royals. TJ on that first 5 plus a half. I'm going to be on the Yankees full game. That Screwball line is nuts. I'm going to fade it. And I guess there's not a ton of additions. I'm happy that I'm not on the Blue Jays and your Savage with this line move back. The Reds is a possibility. It's a real possibility. I was going to move on the Twins first 5 plus a half and first 3 plus a half, but I can't do it with him coming off the sickness. I'm going to add the Diamondbacks first 5. I just couldn't bet that last night. I wanted to see what happened with the market. And then again, if this was a full-on market bet, I'd be on the Padres, which I could possibly get to. And I'm going to wait for that first 3 under and the full game under. King Ooh in the house. Great to see you, man. We've missed you. And Jerry Davis on the full game under 8.5. Cubs and leading Cubs money line. Yeah, I'm going to spend some time, Jerry, and thank you for sharing that with us. I'm going to spend some time. So let's roll on to the WNBA here. We have Phoenix Mercury and Indiana Fever to get things started. Let's move over to the line history here. Oh, that's first half. Sorry, move over full game. We'll start with the total for Fever Mercury sitting at 175.5 here, which is basically, what you're seeing in the graphics is what we've been dealing with. That's not moved. It opened at 176 at BetOnline, now 175.5. We know these teams just met each other in this extremely interesting game where the Fever scored 6 points in the first quarter, then 35 in the second quarter. They outscored the Mercury by 30 points, 30 something, 33 or something over the second quarter and third quarter. Caitlin Clark put up 15 on her own in the second quarter. From a spread perspective here, this has been sitting at 8.5. Looks like an 8 might come back. Usually I go right back here. I hear that, Rod. I get it. Oh, and Mac just ruled out. Okay, thank you, Voodoo Ranger. Justin McKelvey is a Mercury plus 7.5 in his pocket. That makes a ton of sense to me. Generally speaking, I would be back the team that lost when there's 2 games in the same barn. We have 50% of the tickets on Phoenix and 92% of the cash on Indiana. 83% of tickets on the over, 91% cash on the over. I also think that, familiarity breeds contempt, and you would think that that game would go over. But look, I'm sitting here 34-24 in WNBA, and anytime I've given anything back is when I've not kept everything very simple and very clean. And this would probably be Mercury or no bet. Probably here. Clea Copper went for 20, and Alyssa Thomas went 19, 5 boards, 9 assists. Monique Billings had a double-double. Kelsey Mitchell looked good. But I do fear the Fever a little bit. I think I should let go of that. I think I should join Justin on the Mercury. I think I should let that go. I think the Mercury have proved they can make this a game. They can play tough defense. They can go toe-to-toe with the Fever. I've wanted to back the Mercury. I've been saying that there's a ton of value. They're much better than a 5-13 record indicates. And I don't know if the Fever, I think the Fever are less than the sum of their parts. AM says Mercury are no bet, but he's staying off and never try to catch a number once it moves where I want with higher limits. Doesn't end well. Rod's Wax says bet against Phoenix versus good offensive team, scoring 87 plus points per game. Phoenix record during 2026 season 0-7 against the spread. Sweet, I like the song. So I'm very interested in the Mercury. Let's talk about the Lynx Mystics, our next spot on the board here. I beat myself up for not being aware yesterday morning of the line coming out, because clearly the Mystics are going to slap back here. They went 4 of 21 from 3 in that loss. This is a home and home here, so the Mystics embarrassed the Lynx at home. Now the Lynx want to return the favor. And what I decided last night, and I know AM is on the Fever. AM, by the way, from last night, Lynx minus 8.5. Excuse me, Fever, sorry. I know he's on the Lynx. Lynx minus 8.5, Fire plus 3, and Dream minus 1.5 for AM. And we're head-to-head in that Fire Sky game. But here, I had to let go of my anger of missing the line, and I just bet it where it was. So I got the first half minus 4.5 and the full game minus 8.5. But I think what I should decide here is that it's worth a triple up. I like the Mystics. They're a team like both the Mystics and the Mercury. I think we can make money supporting here as we move forward. In saying that, you just embarrassed a very, very good basketball team. And they're going to have something to say about that. I think I add the first quarter. Why would I not add the first quarter? This should be a triple up. I'm going to add the first quarter. This is a triple up. Let's just go to the cash flow for this one here. Be interesting. 60% of tickets, 95% of the cash. Now we see a 9.5 on the board too. We said last night that we thought this would close at double digits. Let's talk about the next spot on the board here, the Portland Fire versus the Chicago Sky. One of the things that you guys see that works for me in basketball, in the NBA, and now in the WNBA, I know that this doesn't quite count because the Sky lost not by 30, they lost by 29 at Connecticut. But backing these teams that are coming off an embarrassing situation. We haven't lost on a team that's lost the previous game by 30 points, and I didn't bet one of them, and that was a Portland Fire spot when they lost by 30, and it was against the Storm, and I should have backed them, and they took care of business. But it's another point here. These games that the Sky had been playing were extremely tight. And then they had to go play the worst team in the WNBA, the Connecticut Sun. We knew that was a perfect spot for the Sun. We all backed the Sun. Here, if we look at the last 2 home games, they could have beat the Dream and they could have beat the Liberty. They lost by 7 to the Dream. It was a tied game basically with like a minute left. And then, it fell apart late. They don't have closers. They almost beat the Liberty at home 96-95. They go to Indiana, almost beat them. They lose in overtime. And then they lose at the Dallas Wings. So a lot of people had the Sky against Connecticut Sun. And, it was the perfect letdown spot. Again, I love capping so much because of the psychological situation. It's not because of what the numbers are telling us. Now, what the market is telling us, I find more important than what the statistical analysis of each team is telling us. Fire feel good about themselves coming off that 94-89 win against Seattle. In a different situation, I would make a different bet. But here, I think the Sky are the best bet on the board. We see 4s now. It's opened up at 1.5. The 3.5s are juiced. And I love it. And when we get to the cash flow here, we have 83% of tickets, 92% cash on the Sky. It's very public. And again, you have to ask yourself, do you have conviction to be on the public spot? Jerry Davis just moved on the Fever minus 4.5 first half links, first quarter money line, and full game money line together. I like that. And Toby Lane says line should be bigger simply because Fire record looks better, which is fake. Okay, we got to roll here. Atlanta Dream, Golden State Valkyries. This is the second spot. And Portland plus 3.5 is the 10-star play of the day for Rod Zawacki. So if you like Portland, they're the better team than the Chicago Sky. So if you like Portland, you have the backup with Rod Zawacki. Toby Lane's play of the day is the Sky, and I'm on the Sky, but it's not about agreeing, it's about winning. So good luck to everybody on that one. Dream Valkyries. So we've already heard from our guy. My pages and notes are too long. I can't go up. This is Stack's play of the day here with the Valkyries, and I would like to join him. And I got to get over my fear of fading the Dream, and I will do that. I will get over it. I think that Valkyrie must be backed after losing by 19 at Vegas. It's an embarrassing spot. The Dream are a really good basketball team. Really good. But this has to be a spot where the Valks bounce back. AM is on the Dream minus 1.5, minus 115. I'd love to see perfect. Okay. This is, 82% of tickets, 93% of the cash on the Dream. Now, it is moving slightly towards the Dream. Circa's only hanging at 2, though. That's a good sign. They did have this at 2.5, and they bring it back to 2 with 92% of the cash on the Dream. I'll join nervously. Very, very, very nervously. That is our show for today. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Head over to the Daily Sesh right now with Dabby Cab and Dutch Boy Fresh, and of course, Chappie Funkadelic. A pig milk play of the day is the Cardinals' first 5 plus 2.5, and he's also on the first 5 over 4.5. He's put that together. Cardinals first 5 plus 2.5 and the first 5 over 1.5. That's a plus 123. It is an exotic glass of pig milk. That is the pig milk play of the day. Gamblers' first glance play of the day from Razor Sharp Picks is the White Sox money line at plus 105 for Razor Sharp Picks Gamblers' first glance. Johnny Bender here. Johnny Bender is on the Twins plus 157. Spooner, Athletics money line, Royals money line, Nationals first 5, and the Orioles money line. I like his card very much. Dougie Wise's free bands play days of Royals plus 129. Legacy play of the day is the Yankees money line. The smell good play of the day from Von Polo is Baltimore money line. TJ's play of the day is also Baltimore money line. Brian Smith on Baltimore -1.5 and plus 160. And BJ's play of the day is the Atlanta Braves. On behalf of all of us, Pub Sports Radio, thank you guys so much for your support. Head over to the Daily Sesh. Rod Zawacki, Justin McKelvey, 40 Kid, Lou Chase Fox, sick from the ball. Colin Gregory, thank you guys. Light G's in the house. Great having Lou Chase Fox back in business with us. Mark A, Justin McKelvey, AM, Jerry Davis, Toby Lane. And Toby Lane's play of the day is the Sky money line. Andrew G, thank you. Voodoo Ranger, Sharpie King, ooh! Nacho Cheese Dip, all you guys. Robert Franklin, thank you guys for your support. I'll see you over at the Daily Session. Let's get this money, man. Let's get this money, man. Leche. Hey, los bookmakers. Milk that shit.
It's easier to sleep in the black. When you're losing your ass and feeling so, you know what to do. Tune in to Pub Sports Radio. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's a roller coaster ride, you're gonna catch a bad beat. No problem, keep your head up and just bet the spreadsheet. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. All thanks to Jeff Slaughter, these shows have our backs. POD's always rolling, especially the stats. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. We got Jimmy, Jose, Debbie and the fam. Dutch wine time, Spooner and OG Wham. So hit the like button, don't say that you can't. If you know what's best, just put your money on tape.